There's breaking news. One of the gymnastics kids got the COVID. She tested positive for the COVID. One of the female gymnasts. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning on July 19th. The game started on Friday. See, this is... Look, I've complained about the way everything about COVID and COVID tests has been done. This is crazy. You know, it's funny because England was all celebrating yesterday that their COVID restrictions lifted today. And their president is in isolation because he has to be, because he was near somebody who got COVID or something like that. I don't... This is crazy though, because if you're gonna go by the tests, if you're gonna... Hoda looks slightly nuts. Yeah, COVID cases rising in all 50 states. The point is, they're always counting cases, so if they're counting cases, they can't just complain about the people who are very sick because they didn't get vaccinated. So if the cases are going up, and even people who were vaccinated are getting it, which is happening, they're calling them breakthrough... I think they're calling them breakthrough, I don't even know what the word is now. Anyway, but you know what I mean? People who were fully vaccinated who still got COVID, but I guess in most cases they're not very sick. Because the point was, as I said many times, the vaccine protects you somewhat. Doesn't protect you from getting it at all. Like, you could still get it. You just get it weaker. Or you're supposed to get it weaker, or yeah, the point is, if you get vaccinated, you can still get it, but you're not supposed to get super sick. And they've said that all along, which is why when that woman from the CDC all of a sudden kind of told people it was okay to not wear masks, I was very confused, because it kind of gave people an all clear when that should have never happened. They should have, you know, the mandates weren't really there anymore in most places anyway. So to say it like that kind of, in my opinion, allowed people to think, okay, once you're vaccinated, you're not cured, but immune, or you don't have anything to worry about. But if we're still going by counting cases, not how sick people are and stuff like that, and that means you're going to have to count people who are totally vaccinated who are getting it anyways. This is a mess. This is a mess. Because they're insisting on trying to get everything to go back to normal, and then they did it wrong. They did it wrong. They were going to do it right, meaning gradually, little by little, open up, and then one day they just changed their mind and were like, okay, everybody go back to normal. Like I said, that to me, out of everything that happened, that made the least sense. And instead, certain people want to attack Facebook, because I don't like Facebook. I don't want anything to do with Facebook, you know. But just in any point when we're talking about the elections, and if, you know, Russians were influencing people or whatever, blaming a social media platform, blaming the internet for what is communicated on that internet doesn't make any freaking sense, because then you just want censorship. So the whole way everything is a mess. Everything's a nightmare. I don't know why I'm here for this. I don't deserve to still have to live here in this world with all this garbage, because I didn't contribute to it. I don't want any part of it. And I'm just sitting here having to watch everything while my life is falling apart, and I don't have the mental fortitude to do. I don't have any fortitude. Forget mental. I'm always exhausted. Alright, this stuff in Germany, I don't even freaking understand. Like I said, Germany's one of those countries that is always wagging the finger on climate change and telling everybody else what to do. And they weren't prepared for, I guess they just still had their old houses, you know, because Europe's old in the same areas, and they didn't realize that their old infrastructure and their old, you know, houses on a hill was going to be in deep trouble should flooding come. I'm really surprised by this. Because it's, I mean, it's flooding. If it was a surprise earthquake or something, and I understand that they don't normally get flooding, but flooding is something that happens. So, I'm saying flooding is something that happens the world over, as long as there's water and rivers and streams and anything that can... If a dam broke, and I don't think a dam broke. If a dam broke, then I'd say, okay, I was out of nowhere. Because it's totally wrecked. And this happens in this country every once in a while. But they're so shocked and horrified by it, like they never ever got a flood. Ever. Like they thought that could never happen to them. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't understand that. This I found interesting. The Nationals Park reopens after shooting. Somebody started shooting outside the baseball game or inside the baseball game. I don't even know. But look, all the stuff I talk about, all the stuff the news media is not covering. All the people who don't have money and who aren't going to get another stimulus check and who don't have children and not getting earned income credit. All the people who, because they locked us down, it totally upended however we were getting by. When there are opportunities, that's when people turn to crime. Sometimes they sell drugs. Sometimes they do stuff like that. But sometimes they just get a gun and do something else. They rob, you know, all the times they're talking about all these Walgreens and stuff where people were just going in and stealing stuff and leaving. You think people are doing that for fun? You think they're bored, or are they desperate? Do people not have money? That's what I'm saying. Then you get on Twitter and all the people joking about all the, I don't know, crabs to eat they're going to buy if they get another stimulus check, or, oh, they just saw this thing they want on the internet, they need another stimulus check. There's all these people joking, and there's all these people apparently who didn't spend the stimulus check they were given, and that stopped the government from giving stimulus check to people who desperately need. And I do not understand their attitude. I do in a way, because I know that government doesn't know what the hell's going on, and government do not understand how Americans live. If they did, they would have never shut down in the first place, because but what they wanted was to take all the Americans who don't conveniently fit into the system and put us in the system. It didn't work. It didn't work because too many of us don't fit in the system, because the system is rigged, as it always has been, for a particular kind of person. As you can see right now, the only people they want to help are people who are going to churn out babies for them in case they ever need to go to war, and they can have more soldiers. I thought we got past that. I thought that's why they did the lockdown in the first place, and they did everything because I felt like they didn't care anymore and they didn't need more babies, because they were going to just use drones. If they did that, if they just used drones, they wouldn't need any more citizens. But it appears that they still are having the attitude that most countries have. They want more people. They want more babies. And as long as you are a person making babies, you know, it doesn't matter if you're on welfare or if you're living in a mansion. The people who make babies, the people who get married, they're the ones who get the breaks. If you're single, if you're an individual person, whatever, you can't have kids, you don't end up getting pregnant, you don't have kids, whatever. It's like, too bad for you. They force it so that only the pack survives. You know? I can't even believe, I wasn't going to do anything this morning, but they were like breaking news. And then they said one of the gymnastics girls got the COVID. I thought all these people were bubbled. Now, the gymnastics girls got there last week. Last week. So how did, I assume they're bubbled once they get there. Or, you know, whatever. So how did the gymnastics girl just test positive, I don't know, overnight or something? That yesterday? Because I remember seeing 4 or 5 days ago that they had arrived in Japan. So did they get this person catch it in Japan? Because I assume they were tested when they got there. Dylan Dreyer's on her third kid. She did that whole thing about how she couldn't get pregnant because she couldn't get pregnant fast enough. There's this thing in this world where some of us have nothing and we get by with scraps and we're thankful for the little bit we have. And then there's other people who get everything so much that they get slightly delayed in making a baby and they think it's a crisis. Meanwhile, they're on their third kid. I don't know. I mean, not meanwhile. Flash forward to like 2 years later and they're on their third kid. I don't know. Anyways, I'll be back. So it's an alternate. And she's quarantining. Okay. But I assume the alternates were practicing together with everybody else. And I don't know what the practice space has been like. At these headphones. My earbuds, the left side stopped working and I can't afford new ones, so I had to dig up these old headphones. But, I can't afford anything. Why am I hanging up? How and why should be the same word, because I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, I don't care. You should leave Jeff Bezos in space. What in the hell? Anyway, it's an alternate. But anyways, we'll see what happens. But I'm curious as to how they've been practicing this stuff, because they gotta be. I mean, yeah, they're wearing masks when they come off the apparatus, but still, like I said, the idea of, yeah, I've said everything I have to say about spreading the germs and how it works and stuff like that. I just wish that instead of a panic, you just could have helped people be healthier and helped people and have proper medical care and not have made things political and not ignored certain cures or possible cures because one guy they didn't like was saying that it was a cure. And you just let everybody get herd immunity by never having shut down at all instead of waiting for a vaccine that is not a cure, because vaccines aren't cures. Because shutting everything down, closing everything every time there are cases or surging cases and stuff like that, because there's never gonna stop being cases. Just like the flu never stops. What I'm saying is, had everything been the same, had everything gone, nobody ever locked anything down, right now, boy, we would have had the Olympics last year. And people would have been, the athletes would have been competing. And if, like, some people had COVID and were like, while they were on the balance beam, you know, fine, whatever. And then if somebody got really sick, they went in the hospital and got better or didn't. That's the real way that diseases work. Trying to prevent everything all the time is just a fool's errand. Preventing just makes people frightened and stupid, and you see the grief it caused. I don't know. My life's a mess, but I understand. I maybe am not good at doing things like everybody else and being regular, but I feel like I understand things a lot more than at least the message they put out. Oh my God, you should see see the cheesy grin Hoda Kotb just did to the people who are going to go on the space launch here. Really scary. I don't know. She's weird this morning. Alright, this girl's saying they get tested every day in the athletes' village. They've got apps on their phones. They gotta do stuff. So they're really super keeping track. But that's what I'm saying. All the keeping track in the world doesn't prevent anything. That's the key. So when you can't really prevent things, I mean, you can be careful to avoid as much as possible. But to me, from the beginning, they never took into account that, yeah, no matter all the precautions we take, people are still gonna, the virus would still spread, people would still get it. Even if they did everything right, you know? I mean, long before the vaccines, long before, like, you know, like say this time last year, there were people who were saying that their loved one did everything right, didn't go out at all, you know, followed all the precautions, weren't in a risk group and still got COVID and died anyway. So I just wish people would be more realistic about you can't control everything. I think a lot of people, they do a lot and they have a lot of money and stuff like that, and they, you know, they get insurance and they take their vitamins and do everything the doctor says, and they think that's going to protect them from anything ever going wrong, and it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. That's the fool's errand. That to me is you don't, it's not wise in the sense of old age and experience should teach you that shit happens, you know, and you can be totally reckless, you could be totally careful. It doesn't mean the careful person is gonna succeed and the reckless person will fail, you know. The powers that be and the moms and dads and the teachers and the people in charge want to get you to behave, so they'll control you more, like, so they try to make you believe that doing everything right and following all the rules and doing what everybody else is doing is somehow going to protect you from life, but it doesn't. Alright, I'm going to post this 17 minutes. I'm not going to fix the audio. This is morning news nonsense. Reaction.